Everyone. Thanks for joining today's webinar where we'll be talking about Desk Connect and how to synchronize your data between Desk and Salesforce. My name is Brian Suh. I'm the onboarding and training specialist here at Desk. And today's guest is Amrita. Amrita, do you want to give a brief introduction of yourself?
Yes. Hey everyone, my name is Amrita. I'm the customer evolve specialist within the support team at Desk.com. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about Desk Connect, what really Desk Connect is, and what we can do with it, and how it helps sync data between Desk and Salesforce. So welcome to the webinar.
All right, thanks, Amrita. So before we begin, let's go over just a few housekeeping items. Today's training portion of the webinar will be just about 20 minutes. During the training, if you have any questions, feel free to type those into the GoToWebinar questions panel. We'll be moderating that throughout the webinar, but we may save some of those questions towards the end if we think it'll benefit others on the webinar as well. And as well, we will have a dedicated Q&A session where you can also ask questions via the GoToWebinar questions panel. As always, we are recording today's session, so if you can't stay with us for the entire time, or maybe if you want to watch the video as you set up Desk Connect on your own instance, we will send out the recording as well. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'll go ahead and hand it off to Amrita.
All right, thank you, Brian. So let's get started. Let's see first. The first thing is what really Desk Connect is. Desk Connect is a bi-directional sync between Desk and Salesforce, meaning that it will sync all of your case data from Desk into Salesforce along with the customer and company information. Similarly, it will sync all the case data and your account and contact info from Salesforce to Desk. And Desk Connect basically deals with the three standard objects, which is account, contact, and case in Salesforce. And it also syncs all the case interactions from Desk into Salesforce. And the coolest thing about Desk Connect is it lets you do your reporting on the standard case object. So you're able to do, you're able to use a lot of features within the reporting tool in Salesforce because you will be running reports off of the case object. So the first question that comes to mind when using Desk Connect is, why do I really need it? So why connect sales and service? So basically, for example, if you have a company that has a sales and the support team or the sales and the service team using Desk and Salesforce individually, what is the advantage that Desk Connect would give it? The sales team would benefit because they will have a better insight when talking to customers. They will be looking at live cases and the contact and account information in Salesforce to get information about customers they're talking to. They'll get customer problems addressed quickly because now they're able to talk to the support of the services team directly because of the sync. And obviously because of this, they're going to be able to predict customer issues and be proactive for resolving customer issues that come over. The services team can definitely have better conversations with customers because now they know where they're coming from, what kind of what's their use case or the business process, or what are the conversations they've already had with the sales rep when they signed up for Desk and stuff like that. And then they can understand the full customer history because all of that's going to reside in the case or even in the contact fields, and then they can definitely be more efficient in this way. So basically, Desk Connect would help us give a 360-degree view of the customer and what their use case is. Important things to consider. So these slides are all going to be about how you're going to enable Desk Connect, what you would need to get Desk Connect enabled for your Desk org. So pre-enablement, on the Salesforce end, you'll need to be on the Pro edition or above. You want to make sure that your case priority fields are set to high, medium, and low, and your case status fields are set to new, open, pending, and resolved. In the demo that I'm going to be doing later, I'll be showing you how to make sure these are set correctly. So we can go over those. The other thing is Object mapping. Oh, first let's go over the professional plan. So in the desk side, you need to be on the Pro plan or above to enable Desk Connect. Desk Connect is actually free of charge as long as you're on the Pro plan or above. Object mappings. This is a very important consideration. You need to keep in mind that the desk customer record syncs directly with the Salesforce contact. The desk company record syncs directly with the Salesforce account, and the desk case record syncs directly with the Salesforce case. So while we're syncing data, we need to make sure where exactly we want to update the data so that it's going to sync to the corresponding object. And then standard case object is visible within layouts. I'm going to be showing you this feature as well. We're going to add the case layout to the contact and account layouts of the demo. Okay, so important things to consider post-enablement. Once you've set up Desk Connect, these are the things you need to keep in mind to get started or to start syncing your cases. So one consideration is that only new and edited or updated records are synced at this time. Meaning that if you create a new case in Desk or in Salesforce, that is 100% going to sync over, but your older cases would need to be updated for them to sync over to the other org. And keep in mind that Desk Connect is a little different from the previous integration we had. It syncs with the standard case object. So all your cases in Desk are going to sync and sit under the standard case tab in Salesforce. And then the syncing time, Desk to Salesforce is immediate. So it's the moment you create a case in Desk, it shows up in Salesforce. However, the sync from Salesforce to Desk can take up to 5 minutes. Custom field mappings. These are the standard fields that can be mapped. So the standard type fields that can be mapped are text, pick list, checkbox, and date. So text in Desk maps to text in Salesforce. List type in Desk maps to pick list in Salesforce. The true and false would map with the checkbox, and the date will map with the date. And our case number is not really synced right now, so the workaround to that would be to create a text type field and populate it with, what you would with the number field, and then sync it over as a text field into Desk. And the best thing about this feature is that it doesn't count against the API limit. So you do not need to worry about the API messages and all. It doesn't count against the API at all. All right, so time for demo. Today I'm going to be showing you how to enable Desk Connect and also show you what needs to be done on the Salesforce end. I think we should start with the Salesforce side first. So before we enable Desk Connect, here are a few changes we want to make on the Salesforce org. So I hope all of you can see my screen. This is my Salesforce account. It's a test account that I've set up. The 3 important tabs that I need on my tab view here are accounts, contacts, and cases. And the first thing I want to make sure, remember I told you about the status and priority fields. So that's what I'm going to check for right now. So I go under setup on the right hand side. Setup is like the admin for Salesforce. And I go under customize, which is under build. So customize, and I look for cases, and I click on fields. And the 2 important fields are status and priority. So let's check priority. Okay, what? Something's gone wrong. Okay, anyway, I think I changed the view here, but the priority fields needs to be high, medium, and low for the Desk Connect fields to work. And then let's see. Status. Oops, okay, so let me show you. I think I clicked on the wrong button. Priority. There we go. So this is high, medium, low. I'm sorry, guys, I clicked on the edit button before. So this is the high, medium, and these are the high, medium, and low values that you would need for your priority field. And let's see what status is. The status is new, open, pending, and resolved. Do not, if possible, you can get rid of the closed status. because it's not recommended that we sync the close status with the desk close status, because desk understands the close status differently as Salesforce does, and that's why it's not recommended that we sync this value to with desk. So we can just have new, open, pending, and resolved as values in our Salesforce setup. So that's it for cases. Now the last thing we do here before we move over to desk is we make sure that the case related list is on the contact layout. So I went into contacts and I'm going to click on any of these contacts here. This is my test contact. And I'm going to click on the edit layout link. A lot of you will have this differently. You might just have an icon for the edit layout. So you want to click on that instead. And then I'm going to look for related lists, which is right here. And then I'm in the related list section, I'm going to look for cases. And I see how cases is already grayed out, which means that cases is already added onto the page layout for the contact. So if I were to add any other related list, for example, groups, I just have to drag and drop it anywhere on the layout here and click save. So that's it. And then you do the same thing with the account records. So click on accounts, click on any account and edit layout. And then just make sure that cases is already added onto the page layout here. And that's it. Just click save. That's all. So now when you're gonna enable Desk Connect, you'll see all of your cases from Desk sync under the cases view here. All right, now let's move on to Desk. I'm gonna go into my Desk admin. So this is where you'll start with. You'll click on the settings icon in your Desk admin first, and you should be able to see a tab called Desk Connect in the list. This will only be available once Desk Connect has been enabled from our system's configurations end. So if you don't see this, you can just let us know and we'll be able to enable it for you. Once we enable it, you can come here, click on Desk Connect, and see, there's a toggle that you would have to turn on. And once you just enable the toggle, that's it. Your Desk Connect will start will turn on. But once you turn the toggle on, there's going to be a 30-second counter counting down, and it'll tell you that your fields are syncing. That is not actually syncing cases at the time. It's only establishing a relationship between your fields in Salesforce and Desk. Right now, I already have my test account turned on for Desk Connect, so I already have this option on, and everything is set. But let me just show you. So once you turn Desk Connect on from here, and the 30-second counter is over, then you'll take a look at these screens here. So I have 3 tabs: Company, Customer, and Case. So, and then every tab has 2 sync options: Salesforce to Desk and Desk to Salesforce. You can just play around with these, and I'll tell you what they mean. This is the selective sync option that we have. So basically, you see Salesforce to Desk and Desk to Salesforce directions here. So if you wanted to sync your accounts from Salesforce to Desk, you would go ahead and turn this on. If you also wanted to sync your companies from Desk to Salesforce, you'll keep this on as well. And the same thing applies to Customer. If you wanted to sync both your accounts, your contacts from Salesforce to Desk, you'll turn this toggle on. And then if you wanted to sync your customers from Desk to Salesforce, you'll turn these on. So you can keep either of them on and the other off if you only wanted one directional sync. So a lot of customers do not want to sync their contact data from Salesforce to Desk. In that case, they keep this option off right here, and they only keep the Desk to Salesforce on. And then for the Cases tab, it's the same thing. Right now, both of my Salesforce to Desk and Desk to Salesforce are on, so I'm basically syncing cases from both sides. So that's with the selective sync. Now let's come to another important screen. It's called field mapping. So this is very useful because it lets you sync all of your case, contact, and account information between the 2 orgs. So what does field mappings really do? It basically maps your fields. Your one column is for Salesforce field and the other is desk field. So you see how, you have a list of Salesforce fields here, but you see all no mappable fields in the desk side. That's because I really do not have any fields that I've created for the field mapping to happen. So it's up to you. I mean, it's not necessary that you need to sync all of these fields. It's only the ones you need. You can create mapping custom fields and you can map them together under field mappings. So this is for the company. Let's start with case actually. So cases, you see I have so many fields that I have synced. A lot of them have no mapping because I've really not mapped them, but I've created them already. So whenever I want to start syncing them, I gotta map them here. And right now, I think I've only mapped the date close field. So this is an example. Date close in Salesforce, I'm mapping it with a date closed field in Desk. And then another test field in Salesforce, which is a text tag field, I'm syncing it, mapping it with another test field in Desk. And so this is the mappable field section, but we also have a non-configurable field section, which is basically all the fields that are standard, that are mapped automatically, that you don't really need to do anything about, are these. So statuses get mapped. Statuses get mapped with new, and then, it's up to you if you wanted to change it, but you need to make sure that these are mapped correctly. And then see how I haven't really mapped any of the closed statuses with Salesforce. I'm just keeping it as resolved. And then priority gets mapped automatically. High is basically 7 through 10. Medium is, I think, 3 to 6 or 4 to 6. And then low is 1 through 4. And then this is, again, very important. Make sure that the case origin types are also mapped correctly. So we have 3 types here. We have phone, email, and web. And then these are all other fields that we really don't need. The contact ID and account ID are something that's default to Salesforce, which we really don't need to sync. So that's it. So basically, once you've made sure that all the fields that you need to see in Salesforce, all the information you need to see in Desk, want to make visible in Salesforce, you can just map them over from here. So one important thing I forgot in the previous screen was the selective sync. So not only the selective sync here, but we also have a way of only selecting cases that we really want to sync. So if I were to turn this on, but I really didn't want all of my cases to go to Salesforce, I can set up a condition and say, so I've created a custom field of the list type called sync with SF, and I'm going to select it and say, if sync with SF is yes, then sync my case to Salesforce. So I make sure that none of my fields that are cases that I do not want to sync to Salesforce do not actually sync. Only the ones I want, I can just check the field off of the case and then it syncs over to Salesforce. Let me see if I missed anything else. So field mappings. Yep, that's about it. I'll be happy to take any questions.
All right, thanks, Amrita. So once again, if you do have questions, please feel free to type them into the GoToWebinar questions panel. And looks like we do have a few already here. First one for you, Amrita. Who do we contact to enable Desk Connect on our admin settings?
So you can contact your account executive. You can let them know that you want to Desk Connect, or you can send an email to support@desk.com and just let us know that you wanted to enable Desk Connect. Or you can also give us a call on the support number and we'll be able to do that for you.
All right, thanks, Amrita. And I'll go ahead and type in the email for you guys in the chat window just so you guys have it, support@desk.com. All right, next question. Desk Connect is enabled on our site right now. How do I port my Salesforce cases over to Desk?
That's a very good question. So like I said, Desk Connect right now only syncs new and updated records. So if you already had a list of cases that you wanted to bring over to Desk, you make sure that you update a field on the case or any other field on the case that counts as an update, and that update will actually trigger the sync to sync the case to Desk. So you can just make a bulk update on all those cases that you want to sync. That's it.
All right, thanks. Let's see if we have another one here. What happens if a customer is created in Desk without an email address?
That's a great question again. So it's highly, highly recommended that you always have an email address on file for the customer or their contact, no matter, even if you're in Salesforce, make sure that your contact has a valid, even, it doesn't matter if it's valid, actually, it needs to have something in the email address field. Also in Desk, you need to make sure that you have an email address on file for the customer record. In the scenario where the customer record got created without an email address, there could be issues syncing those contact records over to Desk. So, like for example, if you had a customer in Desk who did not have an email address, when Desk Connect is trying to sync, it is going to look for the email address to find a matching email address in Salesforce, and it's not going to find any because there's no email address at all, and that's how it's going to give you problems syncing. So make sure you have an email address in both orgs.
All right, thanks, Amrita. Looks like we have another question here. I'm an admin for my company, and I'd like to see if there's a system log. I'm guessing he means a system log in Desk.
Oh yeah. Well, we have a system login desk, which is very useful because it also tells us errors from Salesforce. So let me show you already here. So if you click on the settings icon right here, just above the integrations, we have the system log. So it shows us all the errors that are related to Desk Connect or even related to Desk. So these errors can also be something related to Salesforce. If you're having a field error or workflow rule or a validation rule is preventing the case sync, then those errors will also show up here. So this is a good place to see all of the system log errors in Desk.
All right, perfect. Looks like that was the last question for now. We'll give a few more minutes to see if you guys have any more questions. While we're waiting on questions, maybe Amrita, can you walk us to the Desk.com support page, and I'll point out some helpful resources as we close up
Sure.
here. So there are a lot of really great resources here on support.desk.com. So this is our general support page, which contains a lot of really great articles on not only Desk Connect, like frequently asked questions or actually setups, but again, a lot of great articles on rules or filters or many workflows that you want to actually create. So this is a really great resource for you guys to visit. Also, we have our video support page. So Amrit, if you want to go to the,
Yep.
there you go. So there, go ahead and click on that. So this is a really great resource for anyone that is getting started. We have a lot of great getting started videos, some admin specific videos, agent specific videos. These consist of short videos that are 2 to 3 minutes, or even webinars that we've recorded that are up to 45 minutes to an hour long as well. So a lot of great resources there. Also, Amrita, if you want to go back to the support page. If you hover over help, oh, yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Oh, and then if you hover over help, and then on the very far right-hand side, we have our office webinars. Here, if you want to sign up for other live webinars, such as our admin training, and we do have our agent training coming up soon, feel free to register for those as well. And lastly, if you guys do have any questions, feel free to email us at support@desk.com, and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions, whether they be Desk Connect or Desk related. All right, and let's give one more final check to see if we have any questions. And looks like we do not. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up today's webinar. I do want to thank you all for joining today, and thank you, Amrita, for sharing your knowledge with us. And have a great day, everyone.